Hello, everyone. Welcome to JAFM Audio, Season 2, Episode 1.
We are back.
We have some Met news, man. We got some Pete Alonso news.
Oh God, I can't wait to hear this. What's going on?
So, looks like Pete's time with the Mets have come to an end.
That's crazy, honestly. Pete was not having it, was he?
So, apparently, at the end of the 23 season, the Mets made an offer to Pete Alonso, 7 years, $158 million, which he declined. He then fired his agent and went on to hire Scott Boras. Now, this is starting to look like one of those deals with Scott Boras last year, where he tried to get the lefty pitcher, Blake Snell, a contract, and it went into spring training and eventually into the season until he finally got a deal. I don't know if Boras and Alonso overvalued themselves, but the truth is the Mets are not willing to go for a long-term contract with Pete Alonso.
Do you think we have like a Blake Snell situation going on? Do you think someone will pick up Alonso in midway through the season? You know, an offense needs a bat, just throw him in there.
Right now, it's hard to tell. But, listen, Pete Alonso's 30 years old. He's still a very good player. But I can't see a team going 7 years with Pete Alonso. When I said he was a very good player, you giggled. Why is that?
Well, I mean, he hits one home run in the playoffs, and now he's a very good player.
Stop. Come on.
You guys were begging to get rid of him in the trade deadline.
Well, here's the thing. This is not anti-Pete Alonso today, right? I love Pete Alonso, and I would love to have him back. The truth is,
he's just being too greedy right now.
He's not worth the money that the Boras camp is asking for. It's a lot of money.
I get that.
Okay, so, and then the years. On top of that, 7 years for Pete Alonso. He'll be 37 when the contract is over. His numbers have declined in the last 3 years. His power numbers even. The home runs, the slugging.
Clearly, he's past his prime. He still thinks, maybe he thinks the Mets owe him something. Maybe, he had so many years with the Mets, he thinks the Mets owe him something.
Right.
That, players, a lot of times players don't understand it's a business at the end of the day, and maybe this is what's going on. He thinks, the Mets should have his back. But there's other players out there, and I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I think you know who we're talking about.
Well, yes, we're talking about Vladimir, Mr. Vladimir. Now, before we get into Vladimir, let's look at Alonso. Apparently, this is coming out. This is This is Joel Sherman from the New York Post. He's writing. This article came out at about 6:30 today. And it is perceived as a last-ditch effort to sign Pete Alonso. The Mets offered him 3 years, anywhere from 68 to 70 million. So that comes out to about 22.5, 23 million a year.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. And I don't know what they were expecting. Was he expecting 30 million a year, 35, 29? I don't know. But I mean, that may be on the lower range of what I thought he was going to get per year.
But what do you think he's worth right now?
You know what? I know a lot of people are saying he's a homegrown Met. Let's watch him let's watch him get 500 home runs. The Mets cannot afford that. They don't have that luxury. If the Mets would have won 3 World Series in the last 7 years, I would say sign the guy, right?
Yeah.
Like sign him. He's a Met. Yay, he's great. We have to win a World Series.
Yeah, at this point, I feel like, especially after last season, you guys are very much in win now mode.
Correct.
So I think you guys definitely need to win a World Series within the next 5 years. You would say 5?
I would like to get to a World Series at least, get to one and make it competitive, and then let's see where we go from there. But the truth of the matter is we're paying a guy named Juan Soto $51 million a year.
Yeah.
Juan Soto, $51 million a year.
Yeah, thanks for rubbing that in.
Yeah, and the truth is we can't just, let's see where we go. We have to be all in. It can't be, let's see what we can do next year. And then we have some kids coming up, and we'll sign him maybe. We have to be all in at this point now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And Alonso, he was looking for big money. He was looking for long years, and it just wasn't there. He's 30 years old. So with that being said, the Mets literally went right to Plan B. They came out and said that it looks like Alonso's going to be signing elsewhere, and they went right to Plan B. Now, Plan B was Jessie Winker, which I find a little strange anyway. I like Jessie Winker.
Yeah.
I wanted him back. He has that fire. If you remember against Milwaukee when he scored the go-ahead run, he slammed his helmet.
He threw the bat, slammed his helmet.
Right.
He has that
energy.
Electricity. Yeah,
Yes,
definitely.
And I love that. I just find it strange that that was plan B. All right, we're not going to sign Alonso. Let's go get Winker, and we'll take it from there. So you mean
That's
to
an
tell me?
interesting like plan B.
Yeah, you mean to tell me if you sign Alonso, you weren't going to sign Winker? It's just a little strange.
So let's say you don't. Well, you're not re-signing Alonso. You're not. But let's say you don't get Vladdy. Who's playing first base?
I mean, that remains to be seen. I mean, I know a lot of people talk about Vientos at first or maybe bring up a kid. But I think the Mets have pieces to make a trade. And right now in Toronto, you have a 26-year-old first baseman named Vladimir.
He's only 26.
He may even be 25. I
He
may even
looks
be
older
pushing
than.
it here.
Oh, look at that! We got a thumbs up. He looks older than that.
He is 25. He'll be 26 when the season starts.
Yeah.
So he does look a little old, and he looks a little chubby also. But I love the dude. I mean, listen, he's a good player. I don't know if he's a great yet. He does hit for a higher average than Alonso. I don't think he hits for more power, but he does put the bat on the ball. Last year, he batted .323 compared to, and I have the numbers here, compared to Alonso's .240. And if you watched Alonso last year, like I have, and a lot of Met fans, there were times he came up with runners on, and he just wasn't putting the bat on the ball.
Yeah.
Even a runner on third with less than 2 outs, strikeout. And it happened a lot. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'm sure his runners in scoring position average was probably below average throughout the league.
Yeah, I remember watching, a lot of games, and he would come up with bases loaded sometimes, couldn't pull through, and that's something you need your number 4, number 3 hitter to come through in those big situations. If he comes through in those situations, they win a lot more games than they would have.
Of course, he almost striked out double the amount of times as Vlad did. Vlad had 96 strikeouts on the year. Alonso had 172. So, and that's what David Stearns likes also. He likes contact, ball to contact.
Yeah, of course. When you put the ball in play, things happen.
Right.
Fundamental baseball. You don't want a guy striking out more than what he's doing.
Yes.
You keep on giving us some thumbs up here.
Yeah. So I do think what thumbs up? Who's giving it?
You are.
How?
So when you thumbs up to the camera, it puts a nice little thumbs
That's
up.
That's awesome.
There. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So the truth is, I love Alonso. Met fans love Alonso.
Yeah.
He's given us some amazing memories, especially last season in the playoffs. And the truth is, even him coming up to the plate in the top of the 9th in Milwaukee against Devin Williams.
That was huge.
You can 99% of Met fans will tell you they did not expect it.
I think that's probably going down in Mets history as one of the greatest at-bats and greatest moments in Mets playoff history. That was a huge home run by Pete Alonso. And I know it's a little disappointing. He's declining the offer. He thinks he's worth more. I know the fan base would have loved to see him. I don't know about love to see him come back, but they would have appreciated him taking less money or less years, to go another run with the team.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think, once again, I think Alonso is a good player. I think his bat is still scary to opposing pitchers. I think he wants to win. He loves the Mets. But I just think he overvalued himself. And the truth is, last year was his walk year. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I keep thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
I think last year, in his walk year, he had an opportunity to really put up numbers, gamble on himself, and literally force the Mets to pay him. And he didn't. He didn't do well. In the playoffs, it was like a little reset button after the season. And he cleared his head. Like I said, the home run was big. He became a little threat again.
Yeah.
But the truth is, 240, you're not fast on the base paths. Not for nothing. Maybe Met fans disagree with me, but on defense, there were times when you would hold your breath when there was a fly ball in the infield. and I love the dude. I really do. But I think the Mets and David Stearns made a really smart move, made a really smart decision. And just because he's homegrown and he's Pete Alonso, we're not going to go higher than what we believe you are worth.
Yeah. You made a great point there. He declines, a few contracts. He decided to bet on himself, and we've seen it happen time and time again where, players bet on themselves and enter free agency, and they end up having a crazy season and, earning that big contract.
Aaron Judge was one.
In Alonso's case and a lot of other players, he bet on himself and he didn't have the season, I guess, everyone hoped for. Therefore, he's not getting the big money that he thinks he's worth.
Right. So you have now Vladimir out there. He's gonna cost prospects to get, and the Mets do have prospects. They have prospects to give. Now, once again, I don't think the Mets want to be in the business of giving away their prospects either.
Yeah, who would you give up? Acuna?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to leave that up to David Stearns to figure out because honestly, it's one of those things. It's hit or miss. You saw, I mean, if you would have asked me the same question this time last year, I would have said, yeah, give up Vientos. Give up Vientos. You know, he's had his chances and that's it. But the truth is, you don't know if you're going to hit or miss with a lot of these players. But I think at this point, you're in a win now situation. And I think that Lindor, Soto, Vladimir and Vientos, 1, 2, 3, 4, followed by Nimmo.
Yeah.
I think that's scary. I mean,
You guys got a good, a good lineup. If we're looking at last year's numbers, yeah, you guys got a good lineup. But every season is different, James. I don't want to throw any negativity in the air, but every season is different.
Right, absolutely. So, and what's interesting is a lot of people, we don't have Alonso now. And I think this Met offense is just as good as last. I'm not even just as good.
I think you guys are better. You added Juan Soto. That's huge for any lineup.
Right. And if you look at it if you look at last year's team and this year's team, let's just say no more moves are made, which I highly doubt. But let's say no more moves are made. I think that besides Siri in center field, who's replacing Bader, I'm perfectly fine with that. And now Soto in exchange for Alonso, once again, I'm not anti Alonso, but
that's a major upgrade from Alonso.
Absolutely. Then you look at Alvarez is another year older, hopefully healthy. You look at Vientos now for a full season. He wasn't with us for a full season last year. Hopefully McNeil can get back to his old ways. If not, we know we have kids who are ready to step in. Nimmo don't have to be the number 2 hitter no more. He can relax a little bit in the 5 or 6 hole depending on how they want to
Nimmo had a great season last year too. He played really well.
Right. So when you look at this team, you got Winker back, you got Marte there. Those two can be DHs.
In my opinion, though, I don't think the lineup was necessarily the issue with the Mets last year.
Right.
I think it was the pitching and the bullpen.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm not 100% sold on the starting pitching, but I wasn't 100% sold last year either. The Mets surprised me, man. They turned some has-beens into currents, if you really think about it. Sean Manaea is back. And he was excellent last year.
Yeah, he pitched really well.
Yeah, Kodai Senga, just stay healthy, dude, and come out and pitch. I mean, last year he pitched a half an inning. I'm
just thinking about the playoff game.
Right, it was kind of strange, but you got Kodai Senga, you got Sean Manaea as your 1-2 right off the bat, right? And then you have a whole bunch of question marks. I mean, you got Peterson, who looked good last year. I mean, are you gonna get that out of him this year? I don't know. But then you got Frankie Montas. He reminds me of another Severino. Last year going into the season, washed up. Nobody really wanted him. Got a 1-year contract. And he proved himself. And now he's pitching for the Oakland Athletics in front of 37 people. Frankie Montas. Clay Holmes. I mean, he wants to be a starter.
Yeah. You guys are taking all the ex-Yankees and rebuilding your team.
He wants to be a starter, Clay Holmes. There's a lot of question marks.
That's going to be interesting.
It is going to be interesting. And there's a lot of question marks after Manaea.
Yeah.
And even Senga is a question mark when you think about it. 1 year healthy, 1 year not. So the time he's been a Met, 50% of the time he's been on the IL. So a lot of question marks. But once again, I have faith in management, front office. I have faith in David Stearns.
Yeah.
And I have faith in Steve Cohen. He's going to be willing to spend the money.
Are you surprised they didn't bring back Iglesias? You know what? Did you see that clip of Castellanos?
I did. He said
Iglesias was the National League MVP.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I mean, I don't know if he was the National League MVP or the team MVP for the Mets.
I think he did make a huge difference. Though. Major difference. Once he started playing and he came out with his song, and I just feel like he brought a different type of energy to the team.
Well, I mean, he did bring energy, but he also brought amazing defense
Yeah.
up the middle.
Yeah, he was great.
Right. But once again, he's a journeyman. He hasn't really been a starter his whole life. He's up there in the mid-30s. What are you going to bring him back for 1 year and say, hopefully you can do what you did last year? I don't see it happening. I mean, but it's a great story. It was fun. I love him.
Yeah. He was fun to watch, and I did like his story a lot. I'm a little disappointed you guys didn't re-sign him, but
So am I. But now we have to move on. Now you have to look at starting pitching. You need help. And not for nothing, the bullpen, which is right now you have a lefty out there named Tanner Scott. And
I don't think you guys are getting him.
I don't think so either, because I don't think David Stearns is in the business of giving big money contracts to bullpen guys.
Yeah.
But he's good. And that's a lefty. You know, I don't want the Mets to go into the season, right, be really good, be battling for first place against the Phillies or the Braves or whoever decides to be, you know, the team out of the NL East.
Yeah.
And then it's like, man, we could be so much better if only we had a lefty reliever. You get what I'm saying? I don't want that.
You might be.
You might be.
I don't think you guys are getting him, though, to be honest.
Yeah. Well,
But I do think you guys need to improve the bullpen and maybe we don't know how the starting rotation is going to be. We don't even know what Clay Holmes' role is going to be. So I guess we'll see when the season starts. But I do think pitching is something you guys need to keep an eye on and improve. Look to improve either now or throughout the season.
I give him a few starts, Clay Holmes, and see where it goes. And if it's terrible, you say, all right, Clay Holmes, let's go into the bullpen and let's try it over there.
Oh, man. I mean, good luck. Good luck with Clay. I did like Clay, but there was times he would get on that mound and I'd hold my breath because it seemed like he got hit hard every single time.
Well, no, not for nothing. The first half of the season, he was your MVP.
Yeah, he was incredible.
I think he had like a 0 ERA like the first 2 months.
He was the best closer in baseball.
Yes.
Crazy.
So, I mean, you know, what happened, who knows? But that's how the bullpen is anyway. I can't get access. But that's how the bullpens are anyway every year,
Yeah.
right? For the most parts, right? For the most part. What's interesting, though, is the Mets announced their giveaway schedule.
Oh, let's see what
But
they're doing.
the reason why I'm bringing this up, there's a reason why I'm bringing this up, and it's funny. Could you tell me what you think?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna see if I can find it here for you right away. But I want you to see it, and I want to get your reaction over here if I can find it somewhere.
Let's see.
I can't seem to find it here right
Hello
now.
Kitty bobblehead, May 30th, for
No.
all of you who are interested.
No. The Vientos one would be pretty cool to get, though.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
On May 9th. What is it?
Oh, God.
Clay Holmes hockey jersey. Clay Holmes.
He really earned a giveaway for all right.
So here's what's funny. They made it May 9th. Do you know why?
What's
Because
midnight?
by May 10th, you're going to know if this guy is still on the team or not. So that's why they decided to make it May 9th. And it makes sense because they weren't going to do something for him in September or August, right? Like July 3rd is Juan Soto, replica jersey. That's going to be cool.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
So Clay Holmes gets a giveaway on May 9th.
Oh, great. I'm sure there's going to be many in attendance for that night.
Yeah. Well, that's how we stand, guys. At this point right now, you have, looks like Pete Alonso's a goner, man.
Yep. We'll see I wonder where he's going to go, honestly. I'm not sure.
How about this? Ready?
Yeah.
The Mets trade for Vladimir, give them some prospects, and then Toronto signs Alonso for $27 million on a 1-year deal.
If that happens, James, go play the lottery. Let's see. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We will catch you on the next one. We're going to try to upload a little bit more frequently, but we're back, and we're better, and we're ready for the upcoming season.
Thank you.